We know that one of the best ways for students to retain and understand information is through hands-on learning, especially when you're talking about STEM. Today I'm going to show you a really cool STEM activity that plays off of the information that students are learning in the Future Goals Hockey Scholar program. If you dive into your EverFi teacher dashboard, click on that resources button for either the Future Goals Hockey Scholar Math or Science. You're going to find in there a hands-on science activity where students are actually going to make their own ice rink. This is great for the classroom. You can also send it home with students to do with their parents, but it's a really cool way for students to visually see how the ice rink is made and how the temperature is controlled. There are 3 parts to this activity. We're gonna go over at least the first one today, and all it takes is a couple simple materials. You'll see that I'm in my kitchen, so this takes a little bit of prep work, maybe about 30 minutes ahead of time that you could do before your lesson, or certainly when parents are working with their students at home, just to be aware of. The few materials that you will need is you will need 6 cups of water. You'll need a decent sized pot because you're gonna be boiling that water. You're gonna grab a cake pan. We recommend a 9 by 13 cake pan. You can also use a cookie sheet for this, and I'll show you that too. You wanna grab a butter knife that will be helpful for this activity. And then a timer. So if you're at home and you're using your oven or your microwave, you can use either one of those. I'm just gonna use my phone. I always have my phone with me. It'll be nice and easy. All right, let's go ahead and dive into step number 1. All right, step number 1 that you wanna do, you have your 6 cups of water. I'm gonna pour that into my pot, and I'm gonna turn the heat onto high because I wanna make sure that this water is boiling. Once that gets to boiling, turn it off, be careful, and you're gonna pour that water into your cake pan, your cookie sheet. Make sure that you get the water pretty even, and then you're gonna take this cake pan and you're gonna set it into the freezer overnight. Okay, so now what I've done is I've taken my ice sheet out of the freezer. I've allowed the students to go ahead and take this sheet that I've printed out, or maybe make a chart. But what they're gonna do is they're gonna see what the conditions of the ice are at the moment and how they affect different types of energy that affects the play of hockey. So one of the conditions is straight out of the freezer. So I'm gonna take that butter knife and I'm gonna have them skate on the ice, make some figure 8s, and I want them to observe, is it really easy to skate on? Then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this pan, put it into the refrigerator for a few minutes, take it back out, have my students again skate on the ice. Is it easier to skate on? Then I'm gonna let this sit for 15 minutes. What is the condition? Describe it to me compared to how it was straight from the freezer. And then again, take their butter knife and skate over the ice. So they are gonna decide which version of the ice that you would like to use. And then they're going to observe one more time just to see what those differences are. Now, based on the 3 types of ice that the students test, they're gonna be able to tell you what kind of kinetic energy makes for the best type of ice hockey. Is it low, medium, or high? Now the students get to play some hockey in this section. I had my goalies, cut them out. You can see I used the larger one because I had a larger container. And then I took my container of yogurt. You can eat the yogurt so that you can put the goalie on the front if that makes it easier. I'm gonna put my goalie at the end, just like a skating rink. Now, this is the best part because students get to take that nickel, they drop the puck, and then they're gonna play some hockey. So they're gonna test out the conditions. You can see my goalie is coming towards me. They're gonna shoot that nickel, so it makes that a little bit easier, right, when you have that open container. But they're gonna play for 2 minutes, so they're gonna set their timer. Then what they're going to do is, again, you can print this out or you can have the students make a chart. They're gonna play 2-minute periods, 3 of them, just like hockey, right? So then they're going to wait, and then they're going to try again for another 2 minutes in play. They will do this for those 3 periods, and then they're gonna figure out that the kinetic energy of the ice increases the more that you play on it. So what kind of energy is affecting the ice? Is it heat, kinetic, potential? They will observe that using the sheet of ice. Now, if you decide to go on to part 3, they will talk about that Zamboni that clears off the ice. But this is a great time to play a good game of hockey and see who wins. I hope you and your students have a great time with this activity. Whether it's making it in the classroom or at home, you're helping students visualize those scientific and engineering practices come to life. Find out more information by visiting futuregoals.nhl.com, and always reach out to your local implementation specialist if you have any questions.